City Lodge is a hotel group with properties around South Africa offering affordable accommodation for business travellers. It has a market cap of 3.6 billion rand, a dividend yield of 2.9% and a price-to-earnings ratio of 26. Looking at that price-to-earnings ratio, Paul, compared to the ones that we've just looked at, is it one that you pick?
Well, look, this is an interesting group. I like it a lot, but disclosure, all of our clients own this, and I'll explain in a minute why. It's a dinky little company. It's only 2.6 billion market cap, as you say. It owns its properties. So unlike most of the other hotel groups who have those physical buildings belonging to some pension fund or something, they own them. So the replacement value of their properties is probably around 4 billion rand. It's a group that was built up by a Swiss guy called Hans Endeley, who then basically just took it from one hotel to the next. They never used any bank debt, and they basically just went from one to the other, and I think you know the City Lodge, Road Lodge kind of model. It's targeting business travelers, sort of in the mid-market. They've got that great sort of visibility in the market. And then in 2008-29, they decided with the World Cup coming that they were going to expand a lot. So they borrowed like 400 million rand, which is a lot for them. Built a whole lot of new hotels near Atterbury Road in Pretoria. One right in this inside of OR Tambo Airport, so people that are flying in and out can stay there. So they just basically upped the ante, and it didn't really work. But the share price is held at these levels because people are anticipating a recovery in earnings. That's why the PE is relatively high.
Oh, I see. You touched on this earlier, that they're opening up a new hotel in Botswana. Your thoughts on their operations in Africa? They've also acquired a 50% stake in Fairview in Kenya, but that's still for approval.
Yeah, still early stages on that deal. But Botswana, they're doing something in Gaborone. It's going to be a town lodge kind of concept. I think they just want to test the waters a bit and see if that works, and then you know, probably they'll try and extend it into the rest of maybe Southern Africa. But I think the way they're structured themselves is they'll position themselves properly. You know, the road lodge concept, town lodge, courtyard, you name it. You almost find a price and a space for everyone. You know, in an environment where we're trying to get competitive pricing because of this occupancy that we're talking about. These guys are still struggling to get to north of 60% occupancy, and they need to see themselves at 65 to 70% to be making some decent amount of cash. So it's nicely spaced out. The new hotels they're doing, like the one in Fourways, that City Lodge, looks nice, feels good. You know, 1,000 rands, 1,400 you can pay in there, and you feel like you're in some of the 5-star hotels out there in the country. So I think in the long run, they have a chance of making sure they exploit all this, their geographic position around the country. It would even be better off if they get it right in the rest of Africa, in my view.
So in Kenya, they'd rather go with a partner already that's based in Kenya.
I think they're sort of making tentative steps to get there, and they picked this particular hotel up there because they, you know, kind of family run and more modest, not in the downtown area. But look, it's got a great internal culture. You know, you always hear when you drive to Sun City, there's like a strike going on because the Sakawa workers want to throw stones at your car when you're on your way in. That's because Sun International has dreadful labor relations in the main. City Lodge, on the other hand, everybody loves working there because they've got like a shared trust, and everybody that works there gets to go to hotel school at UJ. They've got a good empowerment partner. Bulelani Nquka's Vua Investments owns like a 10% stake. He's on the board. Clifford Ross, you know, very well-trodden guys that are serious about business, run the businesses well, have a good service level. The brand, I mean, you know those fun ads where the guy goes down to breakfast in his underpants. Everybody loves that. So I think they're well positioned. The problem, of course, just simply is they built a whole lot of hotels, new ones, at the same time that everybody did. The World Cup was a little bit of a damp squib. Now they all sit with the excess capacity. They basically just have to wait for the economy to sort of grow back into their capacity. But you can already see the share price has picked up quite nicely. It bottomed at around 60 Rand back here, and it's now back at around 86, 88, 89, 90.
I'm going to throw this to you because you are a trader. Oh, when looking at City Lodge at this stage, would you be getting into it, holding off a bit, or what would you be doing with City Lodge?
No, look, I think you know, closer to about 70, I'll probably consider getting back in again. But I don't think that's going to happen soon, because the other issue is always City Lodge, as you'll find with Sun International and Zoho. liquidity is an issue. All those key shareholders Paul's talking about, you know, they're not ready to let their stock go anytime soon. So it's a bit of a challenge for us. But opportunistically, you would find that, for example, there from that peak to down there could have been an erroneous trade or something. Then if you're well positioned, you can get involved. So I promise you, someday we could get our level.
And this stock has been a favorite among fund managers.
Yes, but more the long-term players, as Owen says. You can't really trade this because the gap between the bid and offer is too wide, and sometimes there's sort of gaps from the one to the other. It has paid out very good dividends. It's another characteristic. It's been a good dividend payer. And I think it does have its place. It doesn't really have an enormous institutional following because it's only got a market cap of like 3.6 billion, so it's pretty tiny. The other thing to note is that a couple of years ago, there was one of the hospitality funds, in other words, the property funds, that tried to do a deal to buy out the whole company so they could strip out the properties and then sell the management company. They resisted that, and that's, you know, all good and well. But that sort of possibility does lie potentially in the future. They could do a deal of that nature. So
hot or not in this one, Paul?
You know, I like this one a lot, disclosure, but I'm not sure I'd be buying them heavily now, but I do think they could go from here to 100 or 120, simply in a more positive economic environment. So yes, sorry, confusing you and myself.
Are you hot on this one? Yourself, Owen, hot or not on City Lodge?
Yes, and I like it.
She's meaning hot.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. So it's City Lodge, 2 hots on that one.